Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet my friends from New Friends, New Life, one of the leading nonprofits in the country fighting human trafficking. Their story just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show. Well, when you think about human trafficking, most of us think about something happening in some faraway land, but it's happening right here in our backyard. And to talk about that today, Bianca Davis, New Friends, New Life, and Bob Beaudine, best-selling author of 2 Chairs. Thank you both for coming on the show.
Great to be here.
So I was just reflecting on this, Bianca. You and I have been friends, and this is your 3rd appearance on the Jeff Crilley Show, which doesn't often happen.
I need like a jacket, or like a Hall of Fame jacket.
It's like Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
So Bianca, why don't we start with the basics? What is New Friends, New Life?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show yet again. We're so grateful for your support and for helping to spread this message. New Friends, New Life is an anti-trafficking agency here in Dallas, Texas. This is actually our 25th year in this work, fighting against particularly sex trafficking. We serve women and girls who've been trafficked, working to restore and empower them back to the lives that they were designed to live.
And you've had a men's breakfast for how many years now?
We're going on our 6th year hosting our men's breakfast.
And you've had some big name speakers. I'm thinking like Kevin Costner was a speaker one time. You've had some big name speakers. But Bob Beaudine is in the house, best-selling author, how many times over? But his most recent book is author of 2 Chairs. Thank you for coming on the show.
Man, it's just great. We've been talking about doing something together. I'm really excited to do it, and even more so to be with Bianca, who, she's a treasure.
Absolutely. So, Bob, when Bianca first approached you about speaking at the men's breakfast, what went through your mind?
I mean, trouble takes your heart away. I have 3 daughters that are now in their 30s, but I coached them all the way through. Our family was always someone who said, "I love you." And today, 70% of men have never had their dad say, "I love you." It's terrible. And so as a result, it's not that they're just not saying it. And so we've got to change this curse. There's kind of a curse that's going on. And we're calling all men today. I'm just telling you, we're going to try to get you to come together with us and do something great for something that's happening in our backyard. It's to our community, to our girls, to people we know, and we need to stand up.
Absolutely. We're going to pull up Bianca's website so you can get a sense as to what they represent, what their mission is. And as we scroll down it, there are some just startling statistics. Texas ranks number 2 for human trafficking.
Yes, Texas is 2nd in the nation behind California for highest number of trafficking victims. In our state, there are an estimated 313,000 victims. 79,000 of them are minors. And so when our breakfast co-chairs are Robin Blakely and Jeff Blakely, 2 amazing men, a pair of brothers, and when they introduced us to Bob Beaudine and his message, we just knew that this would be the perfect fit to call our men to the table. If we're ever going to end this issue, we have to engage our good guys and let men know that you can make a difference. Even though the numbers are so startling and large, we can make a difference, and we have been doing good work on the issue here in Dallas.
And I remember about a year or so ago, a big story made the news. Somebody was basically trafficked at American Airlines Center at the Maverick. So it kind of reminds people that it does happen here close to home.
Yes.
What do you want people to know about human trafficking?
I want people to know that, as you mentioned, it's not happening only to people in other places, and also that it's so subtle that we're not looking necessarily for white vans in a parking lot, that traffickers are master manipulators who are preying on the very real needs of particularly our young girls. And so it's important for us to fortify them at a young age, to let them know that they are loved, that there's nothing that they can do that they wouldn't be forgiven, accepted, or received for, because traffickers are really banking on that. They're hoping that the victim will not feel that she can be accepted by her parents or her loved ones, and that helps to keep her trapped. So I want people to know that it is subtle, and that we're up against people who are brilliant. They are master manipulators. They are making a business decision, and that's what we're fighting against.
So staying with you for a minute, Bianca, we're going to show a video, but I want you to tee this up. So the video that we're about to show represents what?
Yeah, so the video you're about to see is from our Youth Resource Center that we started in 2018 through a partnership with the governor's office. But it's where we serve youth, girls ages 12 to 22 who have been victimized or who are vulnerable. And so this video shows that trafficking doesn't happen in a silo. You don't wake up one day and be a trafficking victim, that by the time she's trafficked, it's not the first bad thing that's happened to her. So it shows how subtly it begins and where it can lead and where New Friends to Life intervenes.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and roll that video now.
She was a sweet little girl. She loved pink, princesses, and painting. She was smart and loved to read. She moved all the time. She never knew who would be home after school or what they might want. She was always afraid at bedtime. But then she was noticed by someone who said she was pretty, who wanted to be her boyfriend. But that relationship came at a cost. She left school. She left home. She left herself. She was bought and sold online. Her value to him was what her body could bring. She felt tired. She felt used. She felt alone.
Then she found there could be another way. She found out that trauma can be overcome, that there can be healing. She learned that she was capable of so much more than she had been told. She got new clothes, new friends, a new way of thinking, and a new way of life. She refreshed her mind, she restored her spirit, and she unleashed her potential. She has a future. She is the future.
She is me.
Powerful video, and Bianca was the narrator. So if this doesn't work out, you got another job.
For sure. It sounds great. Never a dull day at the office.
So I want to bring Bob back into the conversation because he's the keynote for the Men's Breakfast, and I want to show the cover of the book because it's a powerful cover, and I want you to talk about what the two chairs represent, Bob.
So what if I could introduce you to a meeting that you could have every day that would change the entire trajectory of your life? I mean, that would be so fantastic, right? And you'd get mentoring, you'd get advice, you'd get daily guidance. I've been having that meeting for 40 plus years. And my mom was the one who introduced me to it. Okay. She said, Bob, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. These 3 questions are very, very, disruptive, but simple. And so she asked me, hey, does God know your situation? And I said, sure. And so she says, and she goes, not only does he know, but he wants you to know he knows. And the highest priority in a crisis is to get your mind above it. And the highest thought, of course, is God. And so he doesn't have 6 telephone lines that are, for 8 billion people, and he doesn't work on pandemics and ISIS and heart attacks. He works on you. And so is it too hard for him to help you? No, but it's too hard for you. See, this is an issue that's happening today in human trafficking. It's too hard for them to make a break out, and they don't know that they have someone to call and ask because they've been hurt and they need someone to help them, give them a guide like my mom. And so the question is, she said, do you think God has a good plan for you? And I said, yes. And she goes, what is it? I have no idea, Mom. And she says, 2 chairs. You meet him first thing, 1 for you, 1 for God. You get a minute to talk, he gets 4. And so we talk all the time. We hear the enemy speak to us all the time, telling us that we're not good, that we haven't done something good, we're never going anywhere, we have no friends. And if we hear 1 time for God, we're schizophrenic. And so this is a game changer because it opens you up to the creator of the world who has a plan for you, and it's really good. He's going to turn this around. He's going to do some great things specifically here with this program, and he has.
And you produced a wonderful video a little while ago. Let's go ahead and roll that.
One day I was just driving down the highway and I said, God, this is all too tough. Life is just too tough right now. And are you real?
When your life is in the shadow of the valley of death, it's just a shadow.
I think everybody who goes through trouble or is looking for goals and dreams come to a spot in their life where they feel their limitations of what they can do. So where do they turn? There's this fantastic quote in John 16:33. It said, in this world you will have trouble. Be of good cheer. I've overcome the world.
Hearing God is definitely important. And I think it really depends on how you view God.
My mom told me a secret 40 years ago, said that if I would set this up, it would change the entire trajectory of my life.
2 chairs brings us into the place of hearing God and receiving from God and being led by God.
He told me that he wanted me. And after that, it changed my entire life.
What if there's a 1% chance that God would meet you tomorrow at 2 chairs? Would you go?
Wow, so powerful. I know you're a humble guy and you're not going to brag on yourself. So let me give Bianca a chance to brag about Bob. When people come to this breakfast, why do they need to hear Bob's message?
Well, first of all, I have just enjoyed getting to meet and know Bob myself, and I've made an arrangement that we should have a phone call every morning at 9:30, because when you're in his space, you are immediately inspired and just in believing that you can make a difference. We face these obstacles every day in this work of whether it's fighting human trafficking or if you're working in healthcare, whatever you're doing for a living, it's tough to wake up in the morning and see what's going on in the news and hear what's happening and still find that inspiration. And Bob just is an anchor for that. So that's really exciting. But I think if you are a man who loves sports, if you are a father, if you are everyone is going to be your son, but if you are a brother, any role that you play, if you have a partner, a spouse, there is something here in his message for you and how you can show up as a leader in your home and in the community and in business. So anyone who's in his space is really going to be inspired and challenged to think of life differently. And that's going to be really exciting.
And Bob, I know you speak from the heart, and you sometimes God downloads to you, I need to do this exercise or I need to do this thing. Are you going to set out a chair and have God talk to you about this breakfast?
I'll have 2 chairs on the stage for sure as a message to remind people subtly that, you are not alone. And that, of course, is something that everyone in human trafficking thinks they are. They have no one to turn to. And of course, that's the whole concept of sports, is that as an offensive coordinator, you're going to try to isolate the cornerback, right? You're going to try to isolate you. You could have lost your job. You could have had a relationship. 50% of the people who are even listening today have had such trouble in their life, and they don't know what to do with it, and they haven't talked to other people about it yet. And of course, God wants to talk to you about it. He wants to have that relationship, and then he's got some specific people he's going to give to you. And so we're going to do some fun things in this meeting to remind you who you are, whose you are, and the path you're called. And of course, God has great plans for you. It's just not something. It's so much bigger than what we're doing. So we have to get in line with how he's thinking. And I'm going to show you, and in a game that we're going to do interactively, that once you see this, everything changes.
That's so powerful. What kind of reaction have you gotten to Two Chairs so far?
So I had a foundation go out, and they called me, and they just loved the book, and they bought like 265,000 copies to go to prisons and military and first responders, social services. Bianca and I were talking about this morning. I have people all over the world sending me pictures of their first experience, and so it's so heartwarming, because the issue today is, once you understand that you're a daughter and a son of a king, then you walk with confidence into business meetings, into life, into relationships. You're much more forgiving. You're much more optimistic. And I think, we need some of the juice today. I mean, everybody has gotten out of the pandemic and they lost this. I gave a talk to a basketball team the other day, and I told them that there was 30,000 days in an average man's life before, and now there's only like 27,365, because we're back in all the negative thought of where they were. And so I want to remind them that hey, life's made up of moments and choices, and we're going to make one today. We're going to draw a line. Whatever we're tolerating in this aspect of human trafficking, we can't change. And evil prevails because good men are not doing something. And so Zig Ziglar lived in my neighborhood. He used to always say something that was fantastic. You don't have to be great to start, but you got to start to be great. And so we're just going to make a move. And so when you come, first off, you're going to be welcomed. It's going to be a group of people that are going to be of like-minded, because we all want to do something great for our community. And there could be nothing better than to stop the evil that's happening here. And it's so atrocious. It's so horrific. And I'm so proud of what Bianca and her team has done to really be able to rescue people and get them ready to come out in the community. And I think we, as the men now, can take our stance, because women have been doing a lot of the spiritual guiding here for a while, and we need to kind of step up and all of a sudden say, hey, this matters, and I believe in you. And we can mentor and guide and advocate for a lot of great people here.
Well, and thank you so much, Bob, for lending your time and talents to this important cause. Bianca, let's give you the final word. What would you like to leave people with?
I'd just like to say that, of course, we would love to see you at the breakfast. And I want you to know that even if you aren't able to make it, that there's nothing that you do in this fight that's in vain. Every step that you take makes a difference. If you're volunteering, if you're making a donation, if you are educating yourself on the issue, if you're talking to your children and your partners about this, that you are helping to move the needle on something. This is something that is driven by men, and we are going to be able to change it and shift it with the engagement of our good guys. So really excited and just grateful. And thank you once more for the platform and for all of your support over the years. It means a lot to us.
And next time you come on, you're getting the jacket.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Be on a wall of fame, and then, yes.
And as she mentioned, it's not too late to get tickets or sponsor. So to get plugged in, the website is newfriendsnewlife.org. Thank you both for coming on this show.
Thank
Such
you.
an honor. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Tomorrow
you,
morning at 9:30, we'll have our next phone call.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.